Welcome back to Broadly Heroes in the top right. That was pretty weak, but this name makes up for it. I feel like I recognize it from something, but I'm not sure why. And in the top right, it is Blasty Spice. The bottom left, also a Protoss player, HQ Faith, with an interesting, very early gas, but not nearly as early gateway. The second gas will be stolen. He already has the one. Blasty Spice off to a bold start. He's taken 3 out of 4 gases out on the map. There will be 2 probes. Make that more. Okay, this is well, this is something you can do if you really want that gas geyser. And then change your mind 75% of the way through. This is why you never finish anything. Okay? You decide, you know what's better than gas? Things that cause minerals. Drops the forge. The plan. Oh! The citizens arrest, though. If it was gonna be a cannon rush, that rush has ended. There's also still a probe. He has a forge. We're just gonna go ahead and read that production tab with the best of them. Now the cyber core, so any thoughts about a cannon rush may have now been removed from his mind. Because he's like, well, I got a probe on the other side of the map, so that means you know. There's a pylon here, which now Blasty Spice sent, I believe it was this probe towards, which is an interesting pylon placement. He also has a probe in the very only unscouted corner of the map. So Blasty Spice has a lot on the agenda here. Whereas I feel like HQ Faith he's been wronged before. He's been hurt. He doesn't understand. Like that assimilator, at first it seemed like the absolute end of the world. And then, very abruptly, it seemed like it was irrelevant. Meanwhile, the probe comes back! Oh my god! He gets another steal! Oh, the probe waited for its moment! Blasty Spice with the double steal! It's so... Okay, well, this stalker is going to have a tougher time. It was so damaging that HQ Faith just slapped a pylon directly in front of it and just... Oh, wait. Blasty Spice also has a pylon here. And a bad case of ADD as well. Okay. Alright. Will the Zealots finally free up the extractor, or the Vespine gas? Yes. Finally, it goes down. Zealots proud of their work will admire it for a moment. Blasty Spice. Oh. Yes, now is the perfect time, he determines, for a proxy robotics facility. Living life to the fullest. Living life as it comes. Rolling with the punches. Floating with the waves. Floating with the... Wait, no, floating with the clouds. We already floated somewhere. Rising with the wind currents. Okay, we're getting off course here. Might have been it's the wind current's fault. Anyways, both sides throwing up some defensive cannons. The Stalker is scouring the map for hidden bases. +1 shields is the choice. And now a lot of players will ask, like, why not +1 shields? It covers all your buildings. Did you know it covers buildings? Well, it covers all units. Well, the simple version is, it's usually better to worry about your HP and your weapons damage than it is to worry about your shields. But to each their own, and Blasty Spice is his own. So he's his very, very own man, believe it or not. Or Spice Girl, we're not sure. Anyways, 3 zealots are coming out as the sentry has, for some reason, successfully scouted that there are 2 pylons on the low ground in one of the latest shield battery. Did he just warp in a sentry? In one of the latest shield battery plays I have ever seen. Oh, the sentry being microed. He's gonna go. Okay, he's gonna leave. He's gonna come back. Oh, but what? Wait. A beautiful force field from Blasty Spice. The zealots tried to figure it out, but they literally cannot comprehend what is happening right now. The probe also cannot comprehend because it was such a big brain move. Blasty Spice now has high ground vision. And what are these armies? And here comes... oh, he hallucinates a Colossus. Which is what everyone does. Oh, and then the Colossus walks back into the main. But the Zealots actually aren't attacking, making things difficult. Wait, oh, the sentry triggered the barrier. Okay. This is one of the more interesting fights I have ever seen. A cannon finishes, gunning the observer out of the sky. And now, Blasty Spice has a couple... He's got shield batteries, cannons, immortals. Let me just bring up that he's got sentry. The creativity is astounding. It's almost dangerous. Somehow. Creativity of this magnitude has been banned in 212 countries. But Blasty Spice is playing from the moon, which also explains some of the reaction time. The Immortals, the double prism drop. 2 Immortals and a Warp Prism. Unstoppable. With shield batteries from the low ground phasing through multiple dimensions in order to re-shield their friendly Immortals and Prism. No Warp Gate. +1 air weapons for HQ Faith. Wait, no, he has +1 air already done. The only downside to that is he doesn't have any air units. You know, sometimes you fat finger with your controller when you're trying to click. More units being blasted apart by Blasty Spice. Almost loses an Immortal. The shields are slowly regenerating with the energy of the shield batteries. Sentries are also being added on for... I guess he can use hallucination, that's fine. Blasty Spice looking, he's almost carved his way in towards victory here. There are 31 probes on this base for HQ Faith. He has 4 army supply, which is 1 Stalker and 1 Sentry. Blasty Spice on paper has the army to just come in and clean house. But he's a man of culture. He has his strategy, even if his strategy is something he came up with less than a third of the game ago. And he's going to stick to it. Okay. Oh. He put a probe in the prism. Uh-oh. Things are going to get spicy. Builds a pylon. Does he know you can use the Warp Prism power field to build shield batteries and or cannons? I guess he doesn't need it. Blasts about a sentry. Another sentry shows up to the party. The probe is here. He's got 2,000. He could build 23 shield batteries if he wanted to, or a significant amount of cannons. But Blasty Spice is trying to put all this together with 48 average actions per minute. It's a lot of work. Somehow the cannons protect everything but the base itself. And the Immortals are going to have a field day. 16 kills, 12 kills. Oh, hallucinates a Colossus in an abrupt panic. The War Prism loses its shields and a little bit of hull damage. Meanwhile, Blasty Spice is rocking out on 26 probes, most of which are in his main. +1 air weapons is nearly done for HQ Faith, with a whole lot of faith that at some point he'll be able to use it. Second Cyber Core as well. Because everyone knows you're not allowed to build a mothership till you get +3 air. What? The Warp Prism is... It's... No, where you... Okay, the Warp Prism went all the way around the map. Around the map in 80 seconds. That's the challenge. The probe transfer final. I don't know what's happening here, but it seems like he really likes hallucinating Colossi. He may be misclicking many varieties of other things, or he may just be a big fan of hallucinated Colossi. Uh-oh. Oh, God. Like, it doesn't, like, the cannons have detection, though, because they're cannons, but they will he's manually targeting the Colossus. I guess it's the only thing in range of that cannon. This is maybe not the most incredible fight for HQ Faith. The Immortal finishes off one of the cannons, but we do have to ask ourselves a question. At what cost? He's going to work on the probe. The probe has shield batteries to back it up. More shield batteries on the way. Nearly out of energy! He misses the probe! Is there energy? Oh, he's gonna get the cannon! He gets the cannon! There's more cannons on the way, but a cannon on the low ground helps a bit. That cannon's gone. Another shield battery. Goes straight for the pylon. Who knows? The Warp Prism is in the middle of nowhere. Everything is focused right here, right now, right here, right now. And Immortal maybe bit off a little more than it could chew. It could be hitting these cannons. Probes stare each other down. Wait, that's Faith's pylon. Wait, no, wait. Faith is the blue player. I don't even know anymore. Technically, Warp Gate is done, but he's queued up so many units out of the gateway. Warp Gate has not been, like, the gateway has not been allowed to turn into a Warp Gate. The Zealot can't get out from behind the Immortal. His shield batteries. There are more shield batteries for Blasty Spice. As the Immortal finally goes down, the Zealots are freed for however long it will take. Another good. Whoa! 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 Blasty Spice! What? 14 minutes, a few dozen cannons, and all of this in. Blasty Spice throws out the unprompted, unprovoked GLHF. HQ Faith has not responded. Wait, what? Oh, that's a probe. Is there anything scarier than a probe in this world of Warcraft? The probe's still going to work. There's nothing else happening. Neither of these players quite experienced enough to really focus on more than the most important things. One Immortal. He doesn't want to show his whole force yet, or let them all shoot at the same time, because that would make things far too easy Oh, the Immortals going for the pylon! And it depowers the whole high ground. Finally, the Artosis pylon is taken out. The probe tries to rebuild, immediately blasted apart. 3 Immortals were the ticket. And he finally... A Void Ray! A Void Ray out of nowhere. There's a Stargate at the Natural. A little bit of everything everywhere. HQ Faith. With total faith, he would break out of this contain. Blasty Spice, his GLHF may be a little premature, or maybe he realized the game had just begun. Blasty Spice is now building 7 pylons and 2 Immortals. Because nothing counters Void Rays like 7 pylons and 2 Immortals. Have you ever seen a fight of such magnitude? 4 sentries versus 1 Void Ray. The Void Ray backs off, intimidated by the ambition of those sentries. Okay. The ultimate battle of beams. Okay, beamers. The Immortal battle will be he hallucinates a whole bunch, which is kind of confusing. The Immortals. Force field doesn't really do much here. There's okay. The Void Ray actually dies. HQ Faith beaten back. There are some more force fields in the general vicinity of the action. And Blasty Spice has actually put together quite a strong army here, to be honest. His army supply is way higher. The thing is, HQ Faith has over double the workers. He's just kind of built workers, which can be a distinct advantage in a game about building more units. Tries to come up the ramp, sees, well, he blasts apart a cannon. That's about it so far. There's a Phoenix on the way as well. HQ Faith, those air attack upgrades gonna start paying off here. There are 46 probes on this Nexus, a little overcrowded at the moment. Blasty Spice has kind of loosened his grip. He has money in the bank. He's got 4,000 minerals, 2,700 gas. He was hoping it wouldn't come to this. But here we are. The Immortal Prism lost and possibly forgotten, as it's been chilling there for more than half of the game now. I don't actually know if that's true, but at least like 5 minutes. At least neither player big fans of the Select All Army hockey. We can confirm that. The Observer gets in towards the main. There's essentially no other tech besides this robotics facilities. He's just... Blasty Spice been chill. There's almost a full Observer contain. That Observer is spotted, right? By... Yeah, he can see the Observer. But... he's... Also, HQ Faith, a big fan of hallucination. Okay. So the entire army is out of position. Blasty Spice, now is your time. Now is the time! Wait, did he not get Warp Gate? HQ Faith has actively put his gateways back into gateways. He has Warp Gate done. His gateways should have automatically become Warp Gates. He had to actively go back into gateways with this. So, an interesting choice there. A big Brood War fan. I was wondering that earlier. I'm like, there's no way he doesn't have a Warp Gate. But no. He's chosen gateways, which are on paper worse in every single way. But, on the bright side, hey, like, you gotta give him credit. You can't queue units on Warp Gates, but you can on gateways. So that's a big brain move, as a handful of probes are on an expedition to reclaim the area. Now Blasty Spice didn't mind from this. He was just using it as a staging area for his shenanigans. Well, oh, the Warp Prism moved. Where did the Warp Prism go? Where did the Prism go? I'm trying to click on it. Oh, there it is! This is happening. Some of these units are real. The Void Rays are being microed. They also have upgrades, which is pretty important. And the Void Rays will win the fight. Suddenly, HQ Faith has 75 probes, which on 2 bases doesn't make much difference. But he also has the Void Ray air superiority. Back at home, Blasty Spice inspired. He's going to build a couple Stargates of his own. He's built 2 more robos at home because he really just cannot do without that robotics production. That was maybe... Well, he's going to recall all the way to the natural in Immortal Blink. There's 1-1 done for air for HQ Faith. +1 shields for Blasty Spice. And it looks like Blasty Spice is going to have time to stabilize. As 4 Void Rays are not going to end it here, especially if there's any amount of cannons and or shield batteries. Blasty Spice inspired by the apparent superiority of Void Rays. Obviously, an entire expansion of this game was named after them. They must be good. So, Immortals and Void Rays are the ticket. There are cannons. I don't know what he's protecting in the main, as the base has been entirely mined out. But it's more like it's a memorial to how this game started, and it's important for morale of the Protoss to know that their home nexus is protected. So Blasty Spice still has, well, he's lost a grand total of 2 probes and only has 25 probes. So he's built not even 20, so he's built 15 total probes this game. There are 69 probes on HQ Faith's base, which means he has a nice income right now, at least compared to Blasty Spice. So many hallucinated units. He's discovered how to build hallucinated phoenixes. Not super consistently, but we're getting there. Unfortunately, the X and the C keys, which are the default hotkeys for Phoenix and then Colossus Hallucination, are very close to one another. It's going to be 6 Void Rays to 2. But Blasty Spice has 6. I don't actually know where we go from here. Who knows when the next time we're going to fight is. Because Blasty Spice is still a long, long way away from working through that bank. He obviously isn't the most comfortable in a more drawn out, we're going to go ahead with air quotes, macro game. Let's actually, wait, what, oh, where are they? They just left! Everybody just left! They didn't pause the game and they went up and... Oh, come back! Come back, you're in the middle of the game! Blasty Spice has been AFK for a while. I'm going to check on his pizza rolls. No, like literally... oh, he's moving his camera around. Oh, wait a sec. He's back. Pizza's here. Okay, so... he will be queuing up some Void Rays. Now that we made it through that. HQ Faith has, like... there's still an observer here. The beauty of it, the other observer and the cannon see it. But the sentries just cannot work up the motivation. But, like, does it really matter? Come on, man. We're hallucinating over here, and you're telling... oh, alright. Okay, the Immortals are on the attack! Just the Immortals. He's going straight for the Nexus! There's no response yet. Oh, there's an observer here. Here comes the fleet! I don't think it's gonna be in time. He blasts through. He recalls the Immortals! What a play! He gets out with 5 out of 6 after sniping the base. What a play! And there's a hallucinated cool. They're just a staple, okay? You can't go a single fight without it. Otherwise, he won't believe that you actually have Colossi. There's some long-distance mining happening, just completely circumventing. Alright, these Void Rays charge up. And now they're dead. They almost killed a Void Ray. Down goes that. This Nexus is no longer part. We're shunning. This Nexus has been shunned. You have been shunned, Mr. Face, for your blasphemy of building on the low ground as opposed to a raised platform. Oh. Now, in an interesting turn of events, he's decided to long-distance mine from that Nexus. Not mine from that Nexus, just redirect his probes to that. To that Nexus. Thing is, he's still far surpassing Blasty Spice's 25 probe economy. Because Blasty Spice is mining off of 2 mineral patches and is somehow oversaturated. Now we have another variety pack tower defense wave. It is Stalkers. And it is Void Rays. Which is, I mean, this is new, so... And then a double prong with Immortals as well for flavor. It's gonna come in. 69 probes on this base, going for the snipe. Where is the... Oh, it's a... He's just gonna lose it. Or is he? Yeah, he's gonna lose it. The Void Rays charge up. And... Oh. Here comes everybody else looking for the probes. There's a lot of probes to kill, though, is the problem. Like, oh, Void Rays, I don't know. You're very optimistic. He's killed a lot of probes, but there's like 70 probes. So, oh no, he's target firing Immortals! Which means the Void Rays actually killed. There's a lot going on here, and also so little. He's killed 37 probes. Leaving HQ Faith with only 71 probes. He will continue. This Nexus is for show, okay? Don't sit on that. Don't mine from that Nexus. That's for when we have people over. It's an aesthetic Nexus. And also interesting. What are you doing? If you take the tag off the Nexus, it's not gonna be worth as much. A Nexus is like 3 Beanie Babies. HQ Faith, of course, too low on probes, needs to make sure he has a comfortable amount. Meanwhile, Blasty Spice has finally worked through his gratuitous bank. Still has less Void Rays. He is mining. He hasn't built a probe for like 20 minutes. I think that these probes keep trying to build a Nexus, or do I actually don't know what these probes are trying to do. He's gonna long distance mine some gas, and then he's gonna spend his hard-earned minerals on cannons. As we quickly approach the half-an-hour mark. Which... Immortals and Void Rays against... Well, there goes the observer there. The Void Ray count is now nearly even. Remember, the upgrades still favor HQ Faith. But I don't have faith in much after all this. Oh, we lost. Okay, Faith is back. He's been actively switching his gateways back to gateways from warp gates. He's building... He's at 81 probes. Oh my god, he's mining with 2 probes! How dare you! The privileged few. Only 1% of probes are allowed to mine from convenient locations, where 99% of probes have to long-distance mine. All we ask is that some of the probes are able to mine from close locations, as opposed to so many probes inefficiently mining from further locations. This does not seem like a radical idea, but HQ Faith says no! This nexus is for special probes only. Is that flux veins? While no air upgrades, Blasty Spice is going flux veins. It's not done yet. This is Immortals don't shoot up. Oh, he charges up the Void Rays! There's no counter charge! The Prismatic's alive! The battle begins! It's unclear! They're shining on everything! And Blasty Spice! Blast through! He's got the flux veins as well. The prismatic alignment more than making up for the upgrade differential. There's also a warp prism here. Oh, some void rays come drifting in. Speed voids. Oh, he's gonna go straight for the Nexus, ignoring the cannons. And he wanted to make sure. Okay, oh my. Okay. All right then. Okay. Well, you can't actually chase Speedway. He turns! He turns! But he's hitting the Phoenix, which doesn't do extra damage with prismatic alignment, and all the Void Rays die. Because it only does extra damage to armor. But the Immortals going in for the snipe on the Super Nexus. Most of the other probes stuck with the scraps. The Immortals. There's not that many Void Rays now. So... is he going to recall or is he going to go for it? Oh, he recalls the Immortals. Only one dies. A mothership is on the way. HQ Faith as desperate, despite having nearly 90 probes for most of the game, still has yet to get even that close to maxing out. Blasty Spice is at his career record 37 probes. So he's more of a micro than a macro player. Is a very, very generous way to put it. The Immortal Strike Team. Oh, Flux Veins. And Pulse Crystals, Phoenix Range. All of the upgrades from all of the buildings from HQ Faith. He's like, what else don't I have? Pulls out his Prima Strategy Guide, starts checking it off. Twilight Council, that's the one. As he still has his unwarped warp gates. Here come the Immortals. But Carrier has arrived. Well, he says, yeah, that tickles. Oh, that's the Mothership Nexus! It's the Mothership Nexus! The Immortals are going for it! He's losing them pretty quick. But so the Nexus is falling. There are barriers on these two Immortals! They're holding! They're holding! The Mothership is canceled! It is! Oh, he gets it! I don't have any idea if he noticed it was building a mothership. But he got the Nexus. That will slow things down dramatically. He did lose about 8 immortals for all of that. He did lose a whole hell of a lot. The speed voids. But he did stop the mothership. Blasty Spice still somehow has a bank, which is so impressive. He's made a full perimeter of cannons, including in his mineral line at his forward base. The Void Strike team. Looking for another Nexus. You could just kill the cannon. No, that would be too easy. He charges up, still not really evading the cannon, but also not caring. And, oh, he could find a carrier. He targets the carrier, blasts it apart. Melting voids. Prismatic alignment is a hell of a thing, but more carriers have arrived. If only, well, unfortunately, oh, here comes some Tempest. Deja vu. They're only marginally faster than the carriers. A confusing rally point. Everybody's getting involved. Meanwhile, a bucket brigade of probes are long-distance mining from a base that just this moment mined out. Oh. Oh no. Oh. Oh, where are the minerals? We were told there would be minerals. And there they wait. They were not assigned to any other mineral patches, so their journey has ended. Nobody quite knows what's going on, but they're too afraid to ask. He's still building out of non-warp warp gates. He may have walled his base off. We'll see. How many probes is that? 24? It's like 40. It's like, that's about 50 probes. There's, yeah, that's a lot of probes. Or maybe a little under 50, like 40 probes. Leaving HQ Faith still with solidly more probes mining than Blasty Spice. But Blasty Spice has been about the tactics, about precision strikes. Precision. About prismatic alignment and less about the overarching building more. So that's just not his cup of tea. He also made an agreement before the match that he would not ever kill a cannon because that would not be canon with his lore. This is interesting. The whole gang's here. A bunch of carriers. The interceptors? Get one Tempest. What other units does he have? A mothership is now being built by Blasty Spice, who has managed to scrape over 100 supply. That's a lot of carriers. Like, that is 9 carriers. At some point, you have too many carriers. Is it this point? He's now building +2 air weapons, resonating glaives, which is technically for adepts. The probes are in retirement, and that retirement will continue. Here come the flux voids. He softened up that Nexus earlier. He's gonna finish it now. Does he get a carrier as well? Yes! The carrier easily targeted down despite the shield battery. Leaving, it's literally illegal for him to target cannons. Cannon gets another Void Ray kill. Carrier, no wait, that's a Tempest. Has he even killed? I guess He's technically killed 7 cannons, but he wasn't happy about it. He didn't like the way it made him feel. So, on paper, there are 10 carriers, a mothership. Wait, there's going to be 2 motherships. There's 10 carriers and counting. A mothership. +2, +2. Pulse crystals. Flux veins. HQ Faith has spent 40 minutes, and he's finally nearly maxed out with the Golden Armada. Blasty Spice has spent 40 minutes with arguably different strategies. This base has mined out despite all its troubles and trials and tribulations. The mothership is done for Blasty Spice, whose upgrades consist of Flux Veins, Warp Gate, and +1 shields. The Probe Convention! The retirement probes! Oh, what is this? The Warp Prism. I don't even know what was in that. Does he go for the mama ship? He's gonna go for it! The carriers are oh, he gets it! Even a time warp used, but that time warp won't turn back to a time when the mothership still existed. He did sacrifice every... Wait, whose time warp was that? That was the time warp... Wait, why was it... I'm actually... I need to go back for a split second. We need to relive that. Why was the time warp slowing down? Wait, does it slow? But it looked like it slowed the carriers. No. Winter is dumb. Don't listen to him. He is dumb. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Because just because it's red doesn't mean it's not his. Another mothership is in production. We got some long-distance mining action. HQ Faith has yet to rebuild several Nexi, but he's branching out into the world. Blasty Spice has been at his 2 Stargate limit for a while. Unfortunately, there's a lot of zoning restrictions that make it so he can't build any more, which is unfortunate because he has the resources to potentially build about 12 Void Rays at a time. Blasty Spice still chilling at that 37 probe count. And he will be the aggressor. Because he doesn't know what else he could. Where did the carriers are coming back? This could be it. This could be the fight. Oh, the Oracle dies, but there are observers. The carriers have... There's no way Blasty Spice can win this fight. At some point, your luck runs out. He's breaking the zoning restrictions. Desperate times call for desperate measures. Stargate Command coming together. 6 Stargates will be the total. The carriers, despite... That's like a swarm of bees! Bees! Blasty Spice with a eloquent statement. And also building 5 carriers of his own, obviously inspired by HQ Faith. He wants his own bees. A mothership is done for HQ Faith. He's not maxed, but he does have 2-2. He's building some more he's got a rich Vespine geyser. Double the gas income. Blasty Spice putting together a 3 Zealot hit squad, which is not Charge Lot, just Zealot. Which is, I mean, it's something. You can do that. And he's actually using his warp gates. Unfortunately, HQ Faith is going to take his time building up a strong, well-supported push. But during that time, Blasty Spice will be building carriers of his own. HQ Faith is going to have ridiculous upgrades. Those zealots. Blasty Spice swore a vow. He swore a vow to never kill another cannon. And he has stuck by that vow for about 30 minutes now. And he got a probe though. How many probes have died? 78 to 2. Some more zealots. He's buying so much time for his carriers and his mother. That's enough zealots to distract. Yeah, the cannon push continues. These are actual real probe kills here. This is the real number of probes dying. And now the zealots go for the Nexus. Will they get it before the mothership can cloak it? Or literally just the zealots die? It's gonna be real close. The mothership needs to come a little closer. Mothership, get over here. Bit of a late response. It's not like HQ Faith is hurting for minerals. He's got 5,000 in the bank alongside 2,700 gas, but the supplies are far closer to even than they ever should be. But upgrades are a hell of a thing. Each of those bees is going to be doing so much damage, and he's going to be negating a lot from the bees of HQ Faith as those attack and armor upgrades apply to the interceptors. Now, Blasty Spice is just constant and reckless, but also disrespectful aggression may have traumatized HQ Faith. We see him constantly keeping everything together, desperately trying to defend, building up a forward. Like, you already have a fleet beacon in your main. You do not need another fleet beacon on this side of the map. You can never be, just in case. You can never be too careful. We'll have reached the 47-minute mark. The fleets, there's no way a fight between these two. Like, still on paper. Yeah, it's a beacon calling the fleet to it. That is definitely the case. Fleet beacon oftentimes thought of as a tech building, but really it's a rallying point for top-tier Protoss capital ships, as we know. Will Blasty Spice ever learn what air upgrades are? It's literally going to be a 6 upgrade advantage. I don't actually know if the interceptors will do any meaningful damage at all to HQ Faith. Like, that +3 armor versus no attack upgrades means the interceptors will barely be scratching the paint. These zealots just gonna walk right on by. He finds a sweet spot for that zealot to really just start working away at a very important nexus. There are dozens of gas to be mined from here. Oh my. Meanwhile, the fleet of Blasty Spice here we go. 5 upgrade advantage right now. The carriers engage. Here it comes. We'll have to see if upgrades are as much as I've hyped them up to be. Time warp used. He recalls out, but he doesn't. Oh wait, he recalled. No, what? What's happening? He used the total recall. What? Oh my God! Of all the things he could have done, it's a disaster. The only way, he just pressed all the buttons. There are some buttons you don't press. There are some buttons you should never press. Oh no! But the upgrade upgrades are so insanely good that the interceptors aren't dying. He's target firing. It's unclear. How is this even close to even? 6 upgrade advantages cannot even be described as how decisive that should be. But the interceptor count is in favor of HQ Faith. Blasty Space is out of minerals. He can't rebuild interceptors. Carriers are a rich man's unit, and HQ Faith has invested wisely. Blasty Spice cannot support continued interceptor production. And despite HQ Faith's massive missteps, it carries him through. There's literally not enough income for Blasty Spice to build those interceptors, and they're not particularly expensive, but those costs add up. Blasty Spice using a classic HQ Faith strat of a placeholder nexus, a decorative nexus, that is only used for returning minerals, not mining them. For a while yet, Blasty, I think you got me, says Blasty Spice, approximately 40 minutes after the initial offensive GLHF. Good game! Now, does that mean he's leaving? Yep. He's too poor for his own taste. And then it just kind of ends. HQ Faith never attacking Blasty Spice, but Blasty Spice attacking himself into oblivion. A tale of two styles. A clash of minds, of mental fortitude, of tenacity, of checking off all the tech on a Prima strategy guide. Well, thank you to FFT Private for judging that one worthy, and if you thought so too, like and subscribe and leave your comments about what you can and or cannot believe. And I hope you enjoy Bronze League Heroes.